As much as I love the holidays, I really don't like to be all stressed out about it. Just like anyone else, I hate crowded parking lots and messy kitchens because there's too much last-minute cooking and baking going on. In this video, I'm so excited to share my top ways that I take the stress out of the holidays. My biggest tip is making lists. I love to write down what dishes we're going to make and what I can delegate to anybody else because I really don't need to do everything by myself. Another thing I like to do is prepare pumpkin or actually butternut squash, and this is so easy when I'm making another dish. I just make enough, or I just make double the butternut squash that I really need, and then I make this puree so I have enough for the dish that I am making, but I also have enough for pumpkin pies and all the other ways that we need pumpkin for Thanksgiving. And here is one of my little tips, is that I like butternut squash a lot better than pumpkin because I find that pumpkin can taste a little watery, whereas butternut squash has a deeper, fuller, sweeter, more earthy flavor. And all I need to do is just fill the butternut squash puree, the wannabe pumpkin puree, into mason jars, and they can sit in the refrigerator until I need them. And if you make too much, you can always make a really nice butternut squash soup, or you can also make a dessert with it, like a pumpkin kind of butternut squash dessert. Like I said, all I need to do here is just put a lid on and put them in the refrigerator where they can live until I need them. Another thing that is so ridiculously easy to make is cranberry sauce. I don't even know really why people buy cranberry sauce, because homemade cranberry sauce is one of those ridiculously easy things to make. All you need to do is just add some sugar and just a little bit of water and the cranberries to a pot over the stove. You just basically heat everything up, and this is so much yummier and so much healthier. First of all, because I find that store-bought cranberry sauces are just overly sweet. We don't like to eat a lot of sugar for many reasons, but also once you get used to not getting that overly sweet taste, you just really don't need it, and you find a lot of store-bought stuff just way too sweet. Another reason I like to make my own is because I can adjust the flavors, and I like to add orange juice, but also orange zest, because it gives it a nice citrusy, interesting flavor that you just wouldn't get if you buy it in the store. And obviously you want organic oranges because you're using the peel and you don't want to eat any weird toxins. And again, you just simply fill the hot cranberry sauce once the cranberries have all popped, and this really doesn't take more than 10 or 15 minutes. You fill them into hot mason jars and put the lid on, and then you have your cranberry sauce, and it can, even if you work fast enough, it can live out on the counter. Another tip is to check your table linens, and I always like to see what I haven't used over the year, what might need laundering or ironing, and what I'm going to use. And it's always so easy to get prepped ahead of time rather than doing it at the last minute. I do have some napkins that I would like to use for my table that need washing, and I don't know about you, but I always find that when I do things beforehand, they seem to be taking less time than when I leave them up to the last minute. And also, I feel like when everything is just happening at once, it's hard to really focus, and it seems to stress me out. And that's why I like to prep a little bit ahead of time to take the stress out. I also like to take an afternoon on a weekend to get prepped with all of this. And for that, I light myself a candle because this is a reminder to slow down and not get all stressed, because ultimately it really is about connection and not stressing out and perfection and getting everything right and putting on a show, but really about quality time that we spend with our family and friends. And we should really be thankful, and this should really be about gratitude. I like to check the dishes that I need to make sure I have enough, because one of my next tips coming up is to freeze what I'm making ahead of time so it stays good until Thanksgiving. I like to hang my napkins, and if you shake them out and straighten them up on the laundry line, you're going to save time on ironing. Trust me on that one. With a cup of tea, I like to ring in my cooking session, and also just a nice cup of tea reminds me to slow down, take a deep breath, and not sweat the small stuff. Stuffing, since we're talking about stuff. Stuffing is one thing that I always love to make myself. I have an amazing recipe that uses sourdough bread, and whether you bake your own sourdough bread or get something nice from the store, it doesn't really matter. But again, this is something that's just so easy, and if you spend, I would say, no more than half an hour on a day where you have a lighter load, this will go pretty quick. And if you don't have 15 million other things to think about, you can actually focus on this, and it doesn't have to stress you out at all. I make all the cubes, put them in a casserole, and then I'm gonna just roast them in the oven a little bit to brown them so they get a better, nicer flavor. In the meantime, I'm going to make everything else that goes in the stuffing. And I like to start with some butter and chop up an onion. You can find the link to this recipe in the description box. It is one of my favorites. And homemade stuffing really is something that, yeah, you can buy a package from the store and rip it open, but you're still going to have to add some butter and maybe some broth. And I don't know, I've tried those in a pinch when somebody asked me last minute to do something, and I really don't like them. Plus, most of the time, they contain all sorts of weird ingredients that we're trying to avoid and that are really not good for our health. They're good for some company or the longevity of the product, but really not for human consumption. And therefore, I just find with a little bit of forethought, it is ridiculously easy to make your own. And you can put in whatever you like. Sometimes we like to put nuts in, but these days I find a lot of people have nut allergies. And sometimes I ask my guests, do you have any food sensitivities, anything that you need to know about? And sometimes it's just so much easier to skip the nuts and make it pretty basic and simple with some herbs from the garden, sage and rosemary, that give the stuffing so much of a better flavor. And yeah, homemade always tastes like homemade. There's really nothing that comes close to it that you can buy from the store. And I really enjoy this because Thanksgiving is about giving and sharing the food with the ones that we love. And I think the love that we put into the food while we make it is really something that you can taste afterwards, and it's almost visceral in the final dish. And that's one reason I always like to make food from scratch, and with a little bit of planning and a little bit of experience, I really don't find that it takes a lot more time, at least not for all the benefits you get from it and what you're gaining instead of what you're not having. This broth here that I have, this chicken, it's actually, I wanted to say chicken broth because I always talk about chicken broth, but this one is from a goose that we recently made. You can check one of my recent videos, and I used the carcass to make goose stock. And the difference in flavor once you make the stock is actually not all that different from chicken. You can't taste it in the stuffing, plus the stuffing will go next to the turkey, and turkey has a bit of a gamier taste maybe than chicken, and so you really won't notice a difference. Plus, I like the kind of fuller taste of the goose versus a chicken that can sometimes taste pretty bland. Let's see if I can take the foil off here. There's a lot of steam underneath, and yes, I have burned myself a number of times on the hot steam, which can be kind of stealthy because you don't really see it coming. This is the stuffing, and I'm just gonna let it cool down. Over here, I have cauliflower that I'm steaming in my steamer basket. And as you can see, I'm also steaming the outer leaves because I will feed them to my dog. Yes, you can put them in your compost, but we have too many green things going on in our compost. And there is a good reason to have another use for the cauliflower leaves. For the cauliflower gratin, I don't really know. In French, it's gratin, and that's how we kind of say it in German. Correct me how I can say it correctly if I haven't said it correctly. I'm making a very simple roux. And I remember from my days growing up in Germany, that was when a lot of convenience food was just coming on the market. And these food companies would tell women that making a roux was really difficult and you would end up with a bunch of lumps and it wouldn't be palatable and enjoyable. And I didn't really think that that was true. But I have to say that once I've started making my own, I didn't find it very difficult and so well worth making your own. The same goes for grated cheese, because if you buy grated cheese from the store, first of all, it lacks a little bit of flavor, but they also, to keep it from clumping, they have to add cellulose, which is essentially sawdust. Here is my big piece of Parmesan that we use a lot, and the rind I always keep in the freezer in a little Ziploc bag, and I can add it to soups. For example, I have a white bean kale soup that I featured in a recent video, and it adds a lot of umami and extra flavor to it. So there's a lot of ways you can actually reuse items, save items, and just be smart about it. It's just a small Ziploc bag in the freezer. Let's check up on the cauliflower. I don't want it super soft, almost like for toothless people, but just done enough that it's soft and not too crunchy. And I'm gonna take out the outer leaves of the cauliflower, and as you can see, my dog absolutely loves to eat them. She loves it more than her regular dog food. And it's really healthy for her to get a little bit of extra vitamins and the cruciferous vegetables. And sometimes I even feed her kale. For the gratin, I take out the cauliflower and put it in a dish. I actually went over to a friend's house and got some extra dishes because I realized that I didn't have enough of the casserole dishes that I needed. And I asked my friend if she would have some extra ones. And this is something that can go on your list, whether you have enough dishes for all the things you would like to freeze. Ultimately, I realized that the dish that I borrowed was too big for my dish here. And so I used a smaller one that I had at home. So anyhow, I borrowed the big dish for nothing. But it's just a nice way to say hello to my friend again when I go back to her house and return it. The breadcrumbs here I make from stale bread that I toast, and nothing really goes to waste. There's all these little ways that you can make your dollars go a little further and you stretch your food. This is the finished dish that is just such a showstopper and amazingly delicious. Then I wanted to make a dessert outside of the regular pumpkin pie. You can always make a very simple pie crust. I do have a recipe that I'm linking below how you can make an einkorn crust, but you can even make it with regular wheat flour. And you could bake, like blind bake, the crust and then freeze it, and the day before Thanksgiving you just take it out and you put your pumpkin pie filling in, and then it's really super quick to make a pumpkin pie. You can also make an apple pie with that, but this time I decided that I wanted to make something different because I think somebody is bringing pumpkin pie, and I wanted to make a apple pumpkin bundt cake because that was a little bit different, and I love the taste of heirloom apples in the fall. And here is my pumpkin puree that I had made some days, or I can't remember, it might have been last week. And this is how one of the ways that you can use it for the cake. So really planning a little bit ahead of time and organizing yourself, making a bit of a menu, deciding who makes what. And it also, I think that when you're stressed and when you're doing everything last minute, it loses its joy. If you can take the time to prepare and to plan, and I'm not a meal planner at all, but I sat down and I thought, okay, so which dishes am I going to make? What ingredients do I need? And then at the same time, I was able to figure out if there was anything else I needed to buy. And also in the description box, I have a link to a pantry list for the holidays, because you really don't want to have to run out to the store last minute to get some of those popular items that you will need around the holidays. And as I've said, with a little bit of planning, you can actually keep the joy, because, you know, if we're all stressed about Thanksgiving and then after the holidays, we're just happy it's over, I don't know, I think we're missing out. And this should really be about sharing the joy and sharing the gratitude and sharing food with the ones that we love. This cake is really simple because all you do is you just mix up all the ingredients and then you just put it in a bundt cake pan and bake it. And the only thing I'm going to have to do is the day before Thanksgiving. So all of these will have to come out of the freezer a day ahead of time, at least. Some I can just put in the hot or warm oven and thaw them in the oven. I'm going to have to, make a little bit of a list of when I'm going to do what. But for this apple pumpkin bundt cake, I want to make a glaze, and that's really simple. That's just 15 minutes the day before, and I make a glaze and then put that over the apple pumpkin bundt cake, and it's going to bring out the flavors of this cake. This goes in the oven for about 50 to 60 minutes, or until a little toothpick comes out clean, and then you know it's done. Also, if you grease the pan and flour it a little bit, it's really easy to make that come out. All you do is put a wire rack on it and then invert it. And if you've done your job right, it just comes right back out. All this needs is a little glaze, and then it's ready to go. Once everything has cooled down, so I would like to reuse, there's something about aluminum foil that I don't like to waste it unnecessarily. So I will reuse the one that I had on it when I baked the stuffing. And that's going to be good enough for a week or two before Thanksgiving. But then I put the cauliflower casserole, I really don't know which way to pronounce it, so I'm just going to call it casserole, in a plastic bag to keep it from drying out. And that's always another use we have for plastic bags. And then finally, I have my apple pumpkin cake here that got a little bit stuck to the wire rack. So I have to pry it off a little bit without breaking it, because it was a little delicate, and maybe I could have put it on a plate, but I was worried about using a plate in the freezer that I might need until Thanksgiving, because this is still a couple of weeks away from Thanksgiving. And I'm just going to slide that in the plastic bag and put a tight knot around it to keep it from drying out. And then all I'm going to do is put them in the freezer. And yes, we are super lucky that we have an extra freezer in our garage where we can keep things, and they are not going to be in the way and clutter up the space. I hope you found this helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.